Hello and welcome, football fans. We are here and we are live. The Michigan Panthers podcast coming hot at you. A couple more of those going. Now I know what you're thinking. I can read your mind. Who is that mustachioed man screaming in my ears about spring football? Well, I'm FBI Tugboat.
You ever made out with a tugboat?
I am a commentator, I am a stage host, I'm an interviewer, and I am your host of the Michigan Panthers podcast. This is going to be the Week 5 review, Week 6 preview. Should be coming out Thursday, May 2nd. Coming in here. Without further ado, let's hop on into it. Taking a look, of course, at our topics here for the day. Like I said, review Michigan Panthers taking on the Memphis Showboats at home. That was this past Sunday. Take a look at some standout stats, really who kind of went forth and either performed in ways that we did not anticipate or maybe kind of shit the bed a little bit. We'll be, of course, giving away our player of the week. If you watch this game, that part should be a little bit more obvious. And then we'll be getting on into our Week 6 preview with us. That says Michigan at Arlington. That says Michigan at Arlington. I did it myself. I have nobody to blame but myself. We are hosting Arlington here for week number 6 in the second half of the UFL. Folks, we came out great here. We came out great. I have talked in weeks past about how I feel like not enough aggression, not enough like a lot out the gate early has gone forth to yield a negative result here for our Michigan Panthers. We'll talk a little bit more about coaching decisions and stuff like that, just to be super honest. But also, it was absolutely pouring rain. There's going to be a theme established throughout this entire episode, especially if you watch the game. There was running, rushing, 5 freaking rushing touchdowns for the Michigan Panthers. That's the only way we actually put up touchdown points through this, right? And only like 1 extra point conversion through the air as well. Came out great in the beginning, got 7 on the board, or 6, and then the 1-point conversion. I'm honestly, the frequency with which, not great frequency, with which we have been getting extra point conversions, I'm not against going just for 1, the more like kind of guaranteed, especially when we have our rushing core that has come forth and really done the damn thing. So 7 points up here. And first, let's go ahead and take a look at, what happened after our first drive right there.
You don't realize that. So, here we go.
It's a fake. The snap to Hills. Hills up the sideline. First down, Michigan.
Look, you're gonna get
this starts the theme here for UFL Wes Hills. Man, it was pouring rain. Stands could have been like a little bit more populated, right? This fantastic fake play there on the 4th and 12, especially running him, man. These are. It's like flashes of aggression, which is exactly what I want from Mike Nolan for this team, right? And then it is not always like equally applied or whatnot. So, moving on along, so that turns into a big Colburn run, I believe, like on this. We're not going to show you the whole highlights, of course. And then Colburn goes in. We missed the 1-point conversion, if I remember right. Michigan is up 13-0. Now, this would not be this is a Michigan Panthers podcast. You best believe. This would not be a Michigan Panthers podcast without some fantastic defensive plays, right?
Here, look at Kai Nakua. He buzzes outside. Williams reads it beautifully, and there's Surratt. That's right there.
2nd and 9. Williams, target on the right side is David Davis. The ball is stripped out and recovered by Michigan.
Let me get that.
Up the sideline, on the run. Williams, the last man to get him, and he trips him up inside the 10.
2 things. First, big shout out Troy Williams chasing that one down himself, doing the damn thing himself. Second, bam! Look at that. I got this screenshot. During the game. No, number 6, not just cheesing, but dead eyeing the camera. A man after my own heart. I love it. Absolutely love it. As you can see, this is the second quarter. They were right there. Red zone. Memphis has the worst red zone conversion, I think, at like 36% coming into this, coming into this game. Obviously, it does not improve right there with the strip of Dawood Davis. Wes Hills goes fourth, turned that one into sixth. Unfortunately, we have the conversion failed again. So that goes up to 19-0. Obviously, Wes Hills the beginning of their of his absolute run. 19-0, 2 minutes 45 seconds left in the second. We go out, run it out, gets nothing. We punted like the 57 or something like this. Like myself, I think a lot of other Michigan Panthers fans, the commentators, there's a lot of people kind of questioning this. The man drilled a 64-yarder. Now, I'll go ahead and get into this, right? Jake Bates well, if you don't know, well, Jake Bates did not play a single game within college. He has not, until the UFL, he has not played as an adult, right? He kicked in high school and whatnot, within a formal game, right? Within a formal competitive game that they're actually trying to put points on the board and win whatnot. Obviously, the man has done great things with, in practices and other things like this, right? But everybody's kind of like questioning this a little bit, right? So we go out, we punt. It is a good punt, and they go, they're trapped inside like their 15. Well, just like this wouldn't be a, it is a highlight section. How about that?
Sure that I would have as well, especially
20 seconds left, by the way.
Williams up
The sideline and room to run for Dawood Davis. Steps out of a tackle, and Davis with a shocker for the Showboats.
Yeah.
82 yards to
yeah.
the house.
An anemic. And guys know how infrequently I use that word. An anemic. Memphis Showboats offense shows flash of absolute greatness right there from Dawood Davis. He had to have been feeling like the strip sack of himself earlier. About 2 minutes of game time earlier that turned into 6 points for us. Wes Hills taking the rock, running it in right there, and on the flip side of that, it must have felt great for this offense to have watched their defense go out there and get a stop, especially 19-0, especially us getting the ball back. Even, say we attempt the field goal in the position we kind of feel like we should have, 22-0, like, these are tough numbers. Obviously, 3 7-point touchdowns, 21 points still behind. You're forcing situations where they have to go for 2 or even 3, and that's just to tie it up right there. So again, folks, I'll credit where it is due. And also, that was the longest UFL reception for a touchdown in the league ever. 82 yards there for old Dawood Davis. I think it's fair to say he gets his back right there. Let's see. So I think they run it in, and then after the kick, it is returned pretty damn well up to like the 50-something, around the 50-yard line. Oh, no, yeah, that's what it was. No, we get just past the 50-yard line. I have it written down right here, sorry. And is literally the same exact yard line that Jake Bates punted from earlier, right, where we did not go for 3 when there was like a minute and some change left, or just under 2 minutes left. We try for it at 2 seconds, and for the first time this season, Jake Bates misses it. It is the first time kicking outdoors as an adult. It is his first miss within the UFL. I think the outside part of that has a bigger factor. Maybe a little bit of not having home field or whatnot, but misses. Yeah, but misses that one.
Magic legs.
Not so much this week, folks. Not so much this week. We go into the second half, obviously with a lead right here, not tacking on 3 on the backside of that, and then the third period is just a shootout. Honestly, highest scoring period right there for the third. Yeah, us with 2 touchdowns, them with 1. One of those being a Wes Hills touchdown, of course. Take a look at 10:44. I'll play it back a little bit.
Completion over the middle there.
He's had some of those opportunities that he's turned down in that first half.
2nd and 12, by the way.
2nd and 12. Quick toss to the
That's not where I was supposed to get. Okay, Marcus Sims, love it. We'll talk about Marcus Sims a little bit. They did a great job of defending him. Let's just say that.
It is caught Marcus Sims. Sims inside.
There you go. So Sims takes it to about the 12. That's one, two, kind of three different players. The quote was, "Just keep making them miss." 3 of them. Uno, dos, tres. Hope you guys can count. That is 18 points thanks to those 2 hands right there. Number 31, Wes Hills. The Hills have eyes. Here's the 1-point attempt. Colburn gets that one in. I think we attempted majority 1-point conversions on this. I think the only 2-point conversion we actually ended up missing because we actually ended up missing. So there's not a whole lot after this. They try come back. We mostly waste time out. Jake Bates kicks another 3. With that's 32. They just haven't added the point. Jake Bates kicks a decent one, is like 35 yards. I mean, this should have been piecemeal for him. This should have been an easy Sunday stroll in the park. It was. So he goes 1 for 3 on the day, which is not a number that I could have predicted for you guys coming in to this week. Jake Bates is perfect all the way throughout. I'll get the stats as far as who is perfect, because I believe only one team is still perfect, and I believe that's San Antonio. To be fair, they've only kicked like 4 or 5 field goals coming into last week. I got to update the numbers there, and the longest was like 40, I think. Like San Antonio, they just go for 6. Obviously, it's been paying out for them thus far. Taking a look at like overall takeaways here, and of course the standout stats. We really didn't throw that much, right? 14-21. This is it seems like last year, 10 years ago, I'll say that EJ Perry was attempting, I think, 35 passes, something like this. And this is still with a man named Wes Hills, Matt Colburn on the squad. Obviously, Danny Etling did rush a couple times. These 5 attempts are mostly like required, and the longest one, the 4-yard right there was for the touchdown. All of his receivers were completely covered. Fantastic job, kind of realizing that one. Sims. Let's go scroll down a little bit. There you go. Sims right here. That can definitely be considered a standout stat. Only 3 targets, 2 catches for 37 yards is nothing I'm ever going to be upset about. Marcus Sims is a fantastic player. We just honestly didn't really need to because of that number right there. 3 rushers, 5 touchdowns across the 3 of them. Wes Hills with the hat trick. We'll call it a hat trick, right? Let's see. We'll get a little bit more on the receivers in just a second. This is a theme that I'm scared of, that I'm horrified of, and it just kind of seems like we play very well against squads that are coming in with negative records, that may not have great home field attendance, that have a switch up of quarterbacks like this one, and then Michigan's just all 3 of those. It seems like we're going to go forth and just absolutely shit on the teams that don't have great records, that don't have a lot of like momentum coming into games. Especially if they do not have a quarterback that can really sling lasers around the field. We'll get to that with the Arlington preview here in just a little bit. I don't want this to be a theme, though, right? I don't want us to constantly come in with underdog mentalities, playing up against teams like, obviously, the Birmingham Stallions, or, of course, the other conference, the XFL conference, the St. Louis Battlehawks, or the San Antonio Brahmas. We have obviously played both of those XFL squads already. We'll take a look at the schedule here, just ever so briefly. Arlington, D.C., Memphis, Houston, Birmingham. This is hands down, I would say, the easier part of our schedule. We have already played the other conference is really, really good teams thus far. Not saying anything bad about the other squads right there, but I think the writing is on the wall a little bit. Offensive line was way, way better here, folks. Way better. Only allowing 3 sacks, 24 yards. At least one of those were situations where Danny Etling was maybe trying to run where he didn't really need to as much. I believe at least one of those 5 attempts was for negative yardage, of course, that kind of yielding that only, barely double digit, that 10 yards right there. Defensive line playing way, way better. To be fair, that might be a little bit easier against the Memphis Showboats. I would love to see those kinds of numbers, 7 sacks for 41 yards against squads with more stout offensive lines like the aforementioned 3 teams, specifically the San Antonio Brahmas. I mean, obviously the Stallions, but for the XFL conference, specifically the San Antonio Brahmas. Not saying anything against St. Louis, but their offensive line is not why they are winning games. They're getting McCarron time. He's getting that rock out. He's spreading it around to three of the highest scoring receivers outside of the Arlington Renegades, and that's why they're winning games. Defense optional. Defense optional. Big question that was coming into this week has been answered. The answer is COC. COC. I really, really hope that I'm saying that right. They said it multiple times during the game, and I'm pretty sure that's right. If it's not, just fry me alive in the comments. That's okay. COC Mariner. It's not just the number of targets. It's not just the highest number of catches with 4. And it's not obviously not 42 yards on 4 catches, which isn't which is not bad, not great, whatever. It is the fact that Mariner was relied upon in pressurized situations. It wasn't always just a check down either. This is a person that Etling felt comfortable connecting with frequently, and a lot of these were really, really crucial to go forth, move those chains. That YAC could definitely be better. I would love to see Mariner kind of come into his own a little bit more and get that and get more comfortable with not just taking the rock, but then trying to get extra yardage after getting hit. Both teams, honestly, Showboats as well, obviously with Sage Surratt. Really, really using their tight end right here. Cole Hicatini targeted 3 times, caught all 3 of them. There was that big one. I believe that was the end of the first half, or maybe the beginning, or somewhere in the middle of just that back and forth onslaught in the third period with 3 touchdowns between the two teams, with Hicatini setting up essentially one of those. This past week was a story of Michigan Panthers and receivers and Danny Etling getting the ball, some really, really solid receptions to go forth, get in the red zone, and then men named Matty Colburn, second Wes Hills especially, going forth and just drilling it down their throats. Obviously, you see that there's not even that much of a difference between these attempts, right? 16 attempts Wes Hills, 15 there for Matt Colburn, but the yardage, decently significant difference. The long, this would have been way better if this long for Matt Colburn, that 35-yard run was more like, a 15-yard run, like a first down and then setting up a little bit more. The average there, about a 10% difference between 4.5 and 5.1. Obviously, the big difference coming in with the 3 touchdowns with only 1 extra attempt. I'm jumping around here. Hicatini, really, really glad that we got them involved. I already said that. Second most targets with 3. To be fair, 4 different players got targeted 4 times, and Colburn and Hicatini, Colburn the running back, both perfect on their reception attempts. Let's see. I just in general love how Etling is playing. This distribution may not have been possible so much. Oh, big Michigan Panthers sneeze right there. Hell yeah. Maybe this distribution may not have been possible with Perry and his O-line. There's a couple. I don't want to delve too much into it, folks. Oh my goodness, I'm on the wrong screen. How dare I? I don't want to delve too much into it, folks. What exactly changed the offensive line and whatnot. But it has just simply been different. Perry first treated pockets like a person who's designing women's pants, right? Just hate them. Do not like them. They must be small and basically unusable, right? Perry would just roll out of that to either go forth and get a crossbody throw that would very rarely connect, or try and rush for only a few yards. Got to call it like I see it. I needed to see a full Danny Etling start and a full game and whatnot. Yes, it was against the Michigan Panthers. Yes, I think we have found just a marginally better quarterback. And at the end of the day, if Perry comes back at the end of the season and we use him not evenly, but kind of like a change of downs or whatever they say, right? Then I feel like Perry will have learned about this team as a whole, right? He'll be able to watch Etling and see how he thrives, and then be able to go forth and replicate that a little bit. Well, obviously with his own flavor, with his own twist on things. I don't see how that could be a bad thing, honestly. I love the special teams aggression with the fake, but then it's almost like this is like the fourth and 12 Bates attempted, Jake Bates no kick, but instead of punt, and then this 4th and 12 are coming from entirely different coaches or something like that. It feels like maybe the offensive coordinator there is making the plays for the 4th and 12 fake attempt. Maybe it's Nolan doing both and just trying to throw things at him, and just so that if you don't know what you're doing, then your opponents aren't going to know what you're doing, right?
You can't handle the truth.
Just not 100% certain, especially 4th and 12. Yes, it hit, and I'm very, very glad that it hit. And I think that more so than anything, this is going to establish a threat. This is going to set up situations where we as the Michigan Panthers are going to be able to go up with a 4th and, probably shorter than 12, and take it all the way down like to a, to us being willing to go down to 0 and take the delay of game penalty, but to try and get that first down from them. And these are the kind of situations that defensive linemen and linebackers think about, right? Like, 3 things. First, I don't want them to obviously score points. Second, I don't want to be the person on the other side of that clip. And third, especially given how like long a drive has been, I want to get the hell off the field, right? Like, I don't want to continue this. I want them to punt it. I want my offense to come on the team, and I want to sit down and sip some Gatorade on the sideline and be approached by some reporter who's asking me for a little interview action at the worst possible time, which is right after I got off the field and I'm like literally winded. I don't know. The way the UFL is doing these sideline interviews could be like a little bit better. Guys, give them like 45 seconds after they've literally run. To give Dawood Davis 45 seconds after he was literally run 82 freaking yards down the field, like for a tutty right before halftime as well, right before they're going in to be making like stratagem adjustments and everything else like that. I don't know. I'm getting off my high horse. Excuse me. Okay. This was a fantastic game. And I really, really feel like we could push our aggression in other situations. I mean, the 0-2 or 2 seconds left, same exact position as you were like a minute and a half earlier of game time. Jake Bates kicking instead of punting. That just makes sense. Like, what are you gonna do, punt and like let them try, like give them an opportunity to run it out? I mean, are you gonna kneel it? That wouldn't make any sense, right? The man can make 3 points at that distance. Anyway, Jake Bates misses 2 of them. It is what it is that we win by 17 points. Let's go forth. Take a look at the preview. The preview now, right? This is going to be the Arlington Renegades. Us hosting the Arlington Renegades, excuse me. This will be Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Folks, I'm not going to lie. I would be much, much happier if the Arlington Renegades had already found a win, right? This is their last opportunity. They basically need to win out to have any sort of playoff contention, and they also need 2 of the best teams of the 8 in the UFL to go forth and basically lose out. Now, those are some real hard numbers, but especially given that San Antonio is playing after Arlington, right? They're playing after our game on Sunday. So they know that, like, if it goes forth and like San Antonio already takes a W, then I think they're mathematically like eliminated, or it's like literally like 0.0 type shit, right? But that's not the case. They're playing beforehand, so they're gonna go out and they're gonna play their freaking hearts out, right? Let's be honest, folks. And until y'all, I'm in Las Vegas, okay? I'm not in Michigan. I'm not in Detroit. Till y'all start coming out a lot more, we're just not gonna have that much of a home field advantage in Ford Field. This is an NFL dome that, when there's not a whole lot of people in there, it can get pretty, like, crickets. You know what I'm saying? Rough looks, but that's exactly what it is. Taking a look at the numbers.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? We are looking at the worst rushing defense in the league with the Arlington Renegades. We have a man named Wes Hills, and we have a man named Matt Colburn II. We have a very, very middling passing defense, right? A very middling passing defense. 6th right here. Allowed 101 completions, which is competing for worst in the league. 1,008 yards, competing for worst in the league. 7 touchdowns. What is that? Tied for third worst in the league. Giving up the longest reception in the league. Do have 5 interceptions. Which is tied for 2nd. The Battlehawks only one more than that, and we do have a solid amount of sacks. Nothing like this San Antonio Brahmas, and I say that obviously they're 2nd with 17, but because we did not anticipate that from them. The Birmingham Stallions, very, very much a complete team, very, very much a team that was brought over from last season and can get it done. 17 sacks right there, writing on the wall. 201 yards, 3rd worst in the league with passing defense. The Arlington Renegades, take a look at the passing offense. Oh, shit, that's right. They have about 70 more yards than the next. San Antonio's right behind them, and those are the only 3 teams with 4-digit passing yardage across 5 games. Luis Perez tied for last the amount of, or tied for second best, tied for second best. Second best when it comes to interceptions. Man's only thrown 2 interceptions. Actually, I think that, hang on. No, close this, because I think that That's only one for him. No, it's not. I thought Lindsey Scott threw one of those interceptions. I was incorrect. That's why we have stats right in front of us. And yeah, they have Perez, they have Tyler Vaughns, they have J.P. Payton. J.P. Payton can also run the ball, especially on some of these trick plays, and they have a man named Sal Canilla. I've been beating the drum a whole lot across these few weeks, folks. The teams that get their tight ends involved, not just with blocking and whatnot, are going to go forth and have fantastic success within the UFL. Sal Canilla basically spells out if you rearrange the letters. Don't ask me about grammar. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Well, sorry, let me not get ahead of that. Both of our passing defense is much more like middle of the road here. They are 5th. We are 6th right here. Our rushing defense is very good. Well, their rushing offense is dog. Right here, right? Only 3 touchdowns. That is tied for second last behind the Memphis Showboats. To be fair, Memphis gets their 6 sometimes through like their defense and stuff like that is picked up. Literally week 1 scoop and scores, right? Any hoodles. I think, yeah, so men named Tyler Vaughn, J.P. Payton, Sal Canilla, and Luis Perez are going to cook for them. Men named Wes Hills and Colburn are absolutely going to tear this defensive line apart. At a certain point, I think it's literally going to, like, especially if it's a shootout, and we consistently give up points, or like we consistently like go forth, get a touchdown, 3 and out, and at the same time they're putting up field goals because they're getting close enough, then I think that this is going to turn into a situation where we just literally shake hands with Wes Hills and Matt Colburn and be like, hey guys, do as best you can. I have faith in you, my friends, after sinking the Showboats last week. I'm really happy with our rushing defense, but they don't really have a rushing offense to really complement that, to go on the other side, and if they're able to do that, that's great for them and stuff like that. I just don't see that happening. This will be a test of our passing defense 100%. Not to get like too much into the gambling part, but Vegas thinks we are -4 favorites. We are favored to win by 4 points. I think that's about perfect. I think they finally figured out kind of that stuff. And honestly, that might even be like a point or two too much. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Folks, this is where the intangibles come into play. Arlington coming in for the chance of their season, right? Their entire freaking season, because they have to win here to have any sort of look at the playoffs. It has been confirmed by the commentators and whatnot. It is still the same setup as we had last year, with the top 2 teams from either conference going forth and getting their bid in. This might yield again situations where teams have come forth and won, 8-2 or whatever it was last year, and stuff like that, and still not getting a bid. Way she goes. Don't. My advice to you is don't be in the XFL conference. Be in the UFL, where 2 of the teams find it harder to get a win than you can find a couple pennies in the parking lot of a grocery store. How much does Arlington want it? Again, the intangibles coming into play right here. The math just ain't mathing for Arlington as well, especially when he comes at that -4. Especially if St. Louis wins again on Saturday, which they are double-digit favorites to do. I think the writing will be on the wall for a little bit for Arlington. They're going to really, really want this. I am very concerned if this game comes down to the wire, because we do not have the same comeback ability. Well, I guess I can't say that the Arlington Renegades have a comeback ability, because they have lost all of their games thus far. What I can say is that Luis Perez has that cookable ability, right? He has the pressure cooker, right? Pressure makes diamonds, folks. Say it all the time when I'm commentating games. And I'm just not sure if Danny Etling coming in here, second start, has that same cookable ability right here. That same ability to just go down the wire and maintain, right? Keep eyes on the prize, focus on the ball and the task at hand and whatnot. If this goes down, if we don't blow them out early, and if this turns into like a high-scoring shootout, and we don't happen to be up like by 2 scores around like 3 minutes or so left, and then we give them the ball back, I could see this being like a comeback factor. Never gonna say the Michigan Panthers aren't gonna get it done, and am gonna say that -4 is probably a little bit too much right here. Anyway, we'll talk about that on Friday. How about that? This has been it. This has been it for your Panthers pod. Wait, no, it hasn't. What am I talking about? I got to talk about the schedule, right? I got to talk about the schedule. Week 6 coming in here at our house. If this was away, I'd probably give the edge to them, like as far as the W. Again, I think 4 points is a little bit too much, but I do think we come out with a kick. With a kick, with a Jake Bates, classic, right? Us down by a point, us down by 2 points, something like this. Kick it, win by 1. win by 2, something like this. At DC, that's tough. This is tough. So I'm predicting 4-2 across week 6. Week 7, that is really, really tough. I could see us losing one of these games right here, either week 7 at DC. Or no, that's us. We just beat Michigan at their house. That's them coming in ours. So any kind of advantage they get from home field. I'm gonna say win. Probably man. DC is really gonna be fighting and try and maintain. Of course, this matters what St. Louis and San Antonio are doing, but DC is going to be trying to maintain like a winning record and stuff like that, and they're just going to have that extra thing to play for. Also, yes, the blessing, the curse, whatever you want to call it, of Audi Field was broken last week with DC losing there, but still, like they packed that field. The beer snake is in full effect, folks. This is effect that really, really goes forth and influences this game. So 4-2 across week 6. Coin flip. I'm gonna say 4-3 here, improved to 5-3. Week 9 against Houston, definitely 6-3. At Birmingham, we just lost to them. It was just by a touchdown. That was in our house. This is really, really up in the air, but I'm gonna say ending 6-4 with a loss to DC and then a second loss there to Birmingham to go forth and punch our ticket to the USFL division side of that one. There it is, right there, folks. This has been your episode here, your Week 5 preview, your Week 5 review, your Week 6 preview with your host, FBI_Tugboat, up there in the corner, literally FBI_Tugboat everywhere. I want to give a big shout out to the folks over there at the United Football Media Group, making podcasts like this one possible. Really, folks. I had a desire to do this one. They have really provided a lot of the support behind the scenes and on social medias and whatnot to go forth and try and make this podcast really good and the best that it can be. Honestly, really, really appreciate them. Check out Ace over there with the Roughnecks Rundown. Check out Josh, the San Antonio Brahmas Bullpack. Check out Brandon, the captain. Oh, captain, my captain, with the sink or swim betting segment and whatnot. Hey, you might see a familiar face on there here and soon. Buck and Scout over there with the Birmingham Stallions. Folks, there's too many people to go forth and quote. Check out the UFM, the United Football Media Group over there on YouTube. Do that, all that fun stuff, like, subscribe, all that cool shit here for the channel and whatnot to get relevant and stay tuned with your Michigan Panthers football content. Appreciate you guys watching. I will check you on the next one.